All right, Adrian, thank you for taking your time. Happy Thursday. And once again, congrats on securing that UFC contract.
Man, thank you very much, man. I'm still on cloud nine with all this, man. It's a dream come true.
Well, you already got a fight lined up. Talk about that. How quickly was the Aaron Phillips fight offered to you after that win last week?
Man, I got home Wednesday, flew back home Wednesday. Talked to my manager Tuesday night. My hand was a bit sore, so they kind of wanted me to go get checked before anything. So I came back Wednesday, woke up, it was less sore, and then throughout the day, just I thought like, because my left hand was I broke it before, and I felt it in the pain or where it was broken, but by the next day, I was like, I'm good. It's nothing's broken. It's just a little sore from like a little bruised up from me just hitting him. So I messaged him a little bit later and I was like, hey, he's like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go in a couple weeks, whenever we're ready. Like this week, next week, in a month or 2 months. I'd rather it be sooner rather than later. And they got me that date. They got me Halloween day. So I'm super excited. I'm super stoked, man. It's about to be a bloodbath.
And just to clarify, the hand was that left hook that you land? Is that the
Yeah,
hand?
that left hook. Yes, sir. Is that left hook?
And so right away, I mean, everybody's been asking for fights real quick, and you get it October 31st. What's your thoughts on this matchup, and do you like to make predictions at all?
I like this matchup a lot for me. I usually fight like somebody who wants to come and wrestle me,
Mhm.
but Aaron Phillips doesn't look like the guy who like wants to wrestle. So it's gonna be a great striking battle. Uh, I believe I have the way better hands. He does have the better kicks, but I believe my hands are far more superior than his just left kick. So, and as much as I want to give him credit, I just know I'm a better fighter and all around just better everywhere. I really think I'm gonna get a finish, and I feel like I'm gonna get it done early. Like I've watched his last couple fights. I saw when he first got into the UFC, and I saw his last couple fights already. And I'm just looking. I just don't see what he has for me. I'm 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 just a phenomenal fast striker, and I'm ready to showcase that again whenever I fight Aaron Phillips.
And also, another congratulations, you got the fifth quickest knockout in Contender series so far of its history. Talk about your hand speed. That timing against Brady was so quick. Is that kind of how you saw it going down? And what are some things out there from a technical standpoint that you like to do to help improve that hand speed?
And I felt like I just overall have really good hand speed. I don't consider myself having like the greatest hand speed. It's just a mixture of timing and
Oh, sorry, it looks like the audio. There it goes.
yeah,
Yeah, happens with Zoom. So you're talking
yeah,
about the timing and your hand speed.
yeah. The timing and the hand speed were there, so I just automatically just knew that I had the faster hands, and I kind of watched a little bit of tape on Brady before I fought him, so I kind of knew somewhat of his tendencies. So I actually expected to come over his jab with the right hand left hook. But I kind of saw that he adjusted very well before. There's like a combination, like literally like about 5 seconds before he throws a jab. I try to throw that right hand left hook, and he did the right thing. He kind of used his shoulder to protect over it, deflected my overhand coming towards him. So I had to switch it up. I saw him really wanted to commit to that straight right. So when he did, I just knew exactly what to do. We've been drilling it for a long time. As soon as you see that straight right, I wanted to meet force with force, but I wanted him to miss me. So as soon as I threw it, caught him, and then that left hook was a follow up, man. Because I just knew if I just throw in combinations, I'm gonna catch this guy. And then all like it was just the timing that I had on it. I threw the shot, and then whenever I threw a left hook, I launched it. I knew it was there, so I just launched it. And looking back at it, I see the speed that I had. I kind of look back because in the fight, I feel like I have slow hands. I feel like man, like, I
It's
really
kind of
don't
that
think.
slowing of the moment kind of feeling.
Yeah, so as soon as I throw it, I felt like I was slow. But once I watch it back and watch the replay, I'm like, that was pretty quick. That was pretty quick.
And he didn't, and he realized right away. He's like, "Yeah, he caught me." That's how quick it was. Almost like a whip. It was just so so fast. Is that kind of a combo that you prefer? I mean, I know, with fighting, you go moment by moment, but is that something you mentioned you train a lot on? So is that the kind of combination you like?
Yeah, well, just in general, I was just trying to get throw more combinations because in the past I've been kind of known to single pot shot every once in a while. I get too comfortable. They throw the jab, I slip the jab and jab, or slip the jab uppercut, or I throw the jab, or I just throw across. I was just single pot shotting a lot, so I've been fixing that. That's one thing I didn't want to do to come into the contenders. Going into the contenders, I didn't want to single pot shot. Like, let's just say I hurt them, but I didn't follow up. So that my whole past year, this whole year, I've been working on just throwing in combination because, man, even if I don't land that first one, that fourth one's gonna land. So that's one big thing I've been doing, and also it just happened to be the right opponent as well. I just knew that I was quicker than him. I was faster than him, and better technically sound, and I felt like I had the faster feet. And also, I feel my stand-up is one of the best in the world, and I'm ready to put that to the test against Aaron Phillips.
You got a Jorge Masvidal comparison that night.
Yeah, man.
That'd be a good praise. I mean, he's on cloud nine right now, rock star mode.
Oh yeah, man. As soon as they made that comparison, it reverted me back to whenever I was fighting Kyle Estrada for LFA. I remember looking at after the weigh-in photos, there was me and Kyle Estrada facing off, and I remember looking at the comments and someone said, "Look, it looks like a young Jorge Masvidal." That's why whenever they said that, it brought me back to that point. I was like, yeah, some people say I look like him, but I don't think I look like him. But then once I saw the fight, and they were like, "Oh," I was like, "Oh, they were talking about the hand skills." Oh man, I love that comparison too. So, and also I kind of did think it seemed fitting because, like, whenever he fought Jake Ellenberger, he fought like most of these other guys. Like, I like Quinta. He was very, very technical. He like I see the comparisons, how we stand, how like where our stances are, where our hand positioning is at, and I could see it. So I saw it very well.
And did you say you used to have kind of long hair as well?
I started getting long hair, and I
Yeah.
was like before this, there was like a debacle, like because I was supposed to fight a main event against Levi Miles, but the whole debacle came in overweight. Just a small little mistake that he had made, and the fight ended up not happening. But I had long hair. It was getting long, and I just remember some. I saw Jorge Masvidal was growing his hair out, and some people were calling me Street Jesus. I was like, yeah, I'm cutting it now. I'm cutting it. But the most comparisons I probably ever got was Sergio Pettis.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's not a bad that's not a bad comparison at
Oh
all.
yeah, no, I
Yeah.
don't think I look like them. They call me the third Pettis brother. Like people over here where I stay at, they call me the third Pettis brother. I always kind of found it funny because he was in my division in the
Yeah.
UFC. So I was like, man, if I get here, I'm gonna be like, man, this has to be settled.
It
So
was, you know what's funny that you mentioned that. I don't know. Did you watch the fight between Ricky Simone and Ray Borg where they were talking to each other in the cage like, "You look like me." He's like, "I'm older than you. You look like."
yeah, yeah, that I found that hilarious, man. Shout out to both, man.
What's
That was a great fight too.
what's the longest you've gotten your hair?
Man, it went like it was going to my neck, like the top part was pretty long. The sides were pretty long, but it didn't get to my shoulders quite yet. It was like about an inch, just a bit above, but it was to the point where if I got it wet, I can do the whole like switch it up
Oh
and
wow.
face and everything. So it got pretty long, but I decided to cut it, man. It kept getting in the way of training and everything. Every time I was spar or like I had the headband and I get hit with the jab, the headband would come down. I'm like, oh
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
I'm tired of this. I'm just shaving it off.
Well, it's also going to be a little tough too, being in Houston in the heat and long hair. I
Oh
mean,
man,
this is about. I mean, I usually keep it like this. I'm being in Dallas, like right now, August. I don't know how people with long hair do it.
yeah. No, there was a weird cooling factor to it because once you got sweaty and it got going, it just be wrapped around your face and just like you get the coolness of the sweat. So it had its ups and downs. When it was first starting to get hot, you're just like, geez, man, it was bothersome. But once you like it fully got wet and fully got like you got that catch of breeze, it felt good, man. It was refreshing. So I kind of miss it, but then I kind of don't.
So did you avoid quarantine hair? Everyone's showing off their quarantine hair.
Yeah, no, I had quarantine hair for a good while until like they were like, uh, the salons are open or the haircut places are open. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go get one. I don't like the shagginess because man, weird, but like it's like my hair. It doesn't just grow down. It grows before it gets long. I go through an ugly phase where it just gets poofy
Oh yeah.
before it goes down. So I'm getting in this ugly phase of just like it being poofy. It doesn't look right. I'm just like, I need to get this cut.
No, I feel you. I have you can't tell with the headphones, but I have a cowlick, and I know when it's time to get it cut because that cowlick looks like a plane taking off. Like no matter what you do, like if you shower the night before and wet your head the next, oh that bed, it's that's my own opponent is my cow.
Yeah.
Well, let's go back to the Contender series. What did you think of the atmosphere? Because obviously weird times, not normal times, no fans or friends or family in there, and you're just making that walk. What did you think about it?
Oh man, I had it like I said before, man. I had this weird calmness walking in
Mm,
there. I know that there was no fans, no nothing. I know the Contender series, you get like a small amount of fans.
mm.
Every fighter gets a small amount of fans, but uh, man, it was a weird calm. Calm. I loved it. I actually preferred it a little bit more. It was a weird feeling. You could hear everything. I heard his coaches. I heard my coaches. Man, it felt. I felt really just relaxed and they're really calm. And then I was like looking across, so it really let me hyper focus in on my opponent. I know because whenever you're in crowds, sometimes like you hear the crowds, you really can't focus. Like
Yeah.
you start losing your focus a little bit. But as soon as I jumped in there and looked across the cage, I had full focus on Brady. So it to me it was like performance enhancing. Like for me,
Mm.
like I was super toned in, super zoned in, and just like was ready to rock, was ready to go.
Where was that at? Yeah, because it was so quick that adrenaline. Was it hard to settle down right after then?
Oh man, it hit me like a ton of bricks. It hit me like a ton of bricks. I was walking around, and first thing I do is walk to my corner, and I didn't know how to think about it for a second because I'm barely realizing what everything's going on and everything's happening. I go to my corner, and I was like, yeah, and I
Mm.
yell at them, yeah, like I'm yelling, and then I walk around. The doctor comes and sees me, and I'm just like starting to calm down. I'm like, all right, the doctor's here. He asked me about my hands. Like, yeah, my hand's good. And I walk around. And I see Dana White, Sean Shelby, and Mick Maynard. I was like, I told y'all, boss. And I was like, I told y'all. And then I walk around, and then all of a sudden I was like, oh man, I did it. And then they don't show this on the camera, but man, I fall flat on the mat.
Oh man.
I just fall flat on the mat. And I'm looking up, and I was like, man, I did it. Like, man, I did it. It was a mixed emotions. By that time, my adrenaline just dumped. I was like, oh, thank goodness. Like, yeah, I had a great time. I had a great time.
And then that final fight, that was a little gruesome. That elbow. What were
Yeah,
you guys thinking behind the scenes there? I mean, that was. They keep replaying, and you were like, "Ooh!" I couldn't
man.
imagine being there.
And the funny thing is I was actually like I was in the back, and they were moving us around, and they moved us to the Apex lobby, and then they were gonna move us to the back where we would sit down. And I was on the phone call with my mom, and then all of a sudden, all I hear is, oh, oh, and I'm just like wondering around. I didn't know what happened. I'm just sitting on the phone call with my mom. I was like, hey mom, let me call you back. I gotta go. So I hung up and I looked, and everybody's like, oh, he broke his arm. He says, I thought it was an arm bar. And then come to find out, he got like he posted out on the slam, and it's like I didn't see it. Like I refused to see it because once I heard what happened, I was like, I'm not watching this. I'm definitely not watching this. And it took me till today, literally today. I
Oh man.
rewatched the whole Contender series, and then I looked and I was like, Yeah, I'm good. I'm happy I didn't see it at the moment because I probably would have fainted or something.
Yeah. I almost now regret bringing it up because now it's coming back to my mind, and I'm like, why
Yeah,
did I do that?
yeah.
So, but now, you're on a 4-fight winning streak, right? And now you're heading into October. What's your thoughts on the whole bantamweight picture right now? It's kind of interesting. We just saw Vera get the win over O'Malley. What did you think about that? And then also, I mean, just the mix of things right now: Sterling, Jan.
Oh yeah, I'll get with Vera and O'Malley first. I I was one of those people that thought Vera was gonna win anyways. Like I was like I knew that there was a big hype around Sean O'Malley and 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 to his credit, he deserved it. He absolutely deserves any hype that he gets because he was out there starching these guys. He was out there putting on show for everybody. The dude has a good skill set. He has legitimate skills. And whenever I was talking to a lot of people, like some people who like don't follow the hype trains automatically, they're against the grain type of people. I talk to them like, well, it's like as much as I want to sit here and be like, yeah, no, like the hype's not real. No, the hype was real. He's really good. He's really good on the ground. He's really good. He submitted Takanori Gomi. He went out there and he starched these guys like Eddie Wineland. Eddie Wineland, he might be a little bit far into the end of his career, but that's still a veteran. And what he did to him, nobody's ever been able to do that to him. So he has a lot of legitimate skills. He's very diverse, but uh, Chito Vera, that guy's a savage. Like he's a fighter. And then it just come to prove, man. When going got tough for O'Malley, you can kind of see the little bit of breaks. Like he kind of I don't think he's as tough as mentally as everybody likes to think he is. Because as soon as that foot happened, like it
Mhm.
just looked like he's like in panic mode. Like oh crap, oh crap, oh crap. Like he just started freaking out, and Vera, being the murderer that he is,
Mhm.
saw it and swarmed in on him. Uh, and it was like I kind of hope O'Malley comes back and gets his mind right, ready for war, because like now that people saw that he has the weakness and like I feel like there's a mental break within him.
Mhm.
It's not going to serve him well. So that's kind of my opinions on that. Like, but anyways, I really thought Vera was gonna be was going to be O'Malley, just anyways, because he was already cutting off the cage. He was already doing all the right things.
He had that
Uh,
leg kick too. He went.
oh yeah, he was working them. He was working those leg kicks, and he was just cutting off the cage. And he was doing all the right things. Just he wasn't going to show his whole entire hand the first round. He was going to let it be a slow burn and get that finish a little bit later. What I believe. Uh, so that's what I think about that. But the whole entire bantamweight division, man, the top 15 is like, to me, like I think it's the most competitive division there is right now, other than the 155 division. The 155 division is
Yeah.
very stacked and very tough. Uh, no discredit to them, but the bantamweight division has a lot of killers in it. Like there used to be only just Dominic Cruz, Cody Garbrandt, and Dominic Cruz, Cody Garbrandt, and T.J. Dillashaw. It was those three that they were going to keep
Mhm.
rotating, fighting each other all the time. But now we have a whole list of killers, man. Even the guy that Aljamain Sterling beat, Cody Sandahagen, that
Mhm.
guy's a killer. You got Marlon Moraes here. Even the Rafael Sansao got knocked out by Cody Garbrandt. He's still a killer. Man, you got Pedro Munoz and Frankie Edgar fighting this week.
Yeah,
And
that one. I mean, what's your thoughts on that matchup? Frankie making finally his long-awaited bantamweight debut.
I think that's a good fight for him. Like I really like that fight for Frankie. As long as he sticks to moves and mixes up his wrestling. Just if Frankie just does what Frankie does, I think he gets the win. I don't think he stops Pedro. I don't think he has that stopping power to knock out Pedro. But Munoz, man, he's always a dog, man. You can never count that guy out. He's gonna keep coming forward no matter what. Like he got tagged hard by Cody
Mhm.
Garbrandt. And then he just bit down on his mouthpiece and just started swinging and ended up stopping him. So if I'm placing a bet, I'm putting my money on Frankie Edgar. But
Unanimous
yeah,
decision or
I think
close fight?
I think it's a unanimous decision, especially if this is a five round fight.
Yeah.
I think Frankie gets the decision. I don't. he may be able to submit him, but I think there's going to be the submission would probably be fourth or fifth round. But yeah.
You mentioned about like he might not be able to get that KO, which we've seen at 145, 155. Do you think it's because of the weight cut, because he's dropping down?
Yeah, there's a bit of that. It's a bit of that, but also like his knockouts. I think it was just perfect time for the people that
Yeah.
he fought. Like I feel like Chad Mendes, after a couple fights, like because he was getting tagged hard by a lot of
Mhm.
people. It was just a mixture of the right timing, and I feel like Gray Maynard, same problem. Just was tagged Gray Maynard at the right times. I just feel like some of the knockouts were by people that kind of had a little bit more of a suspect type of chin. Uh,
Mm.
if you look at anywhere else, like he really hasn't had that stopping power. Like he doesn't have that one punch knockout power. It's more cumulative. But at the same time, I look at it and he might have more power at 35 because he might be able to rehydrate all the way back up to 55.
Mm.
But I just don't see it happening, especially against someone like Pedro Munoz who has a granite chin and who's been fighting at 135 and knows how to cut to 35
Mm.
and knows how to regain all his weight back. So I just don't see that happening for Frankie this time around.
Do you see it more of him just staying elusive? I mean, he's got great hands. I mean, his boxing, I feel, has always been
Yeah,
underrated. Do you think it's
he's
gonna be
really
more kind of
underrated.
like the Sean Shirk fight years ago, where he kind of really was popping his shots, staying elusive?
Oh yeah, I really believe he's gonna dart in, he's gonna dart out, and he's also gonna move side to side. He's gonna have I believe he's gonna land his double right hand that he throws, double right hand, cut this angle, and then as soon as Pedro Munoz takes that turn, he's gonna try to take that single. And then whenever Pedro Munoz defends the single, he's gonna let go and let his hands loose again. And I feel like he's gonna do that for the whole entire fight. That's why I think he grinds out the decision. But also, if he takes him down, Frankie Edgar's ground skills too are really,
Mm.
really good. Like a lot of people are just like, yeah, he's good here, he's good here. It's like, no, he's really great everywhere.
Mm.
You're just overlooking him because he's lost his important fights. Uh, but man, I think Frankie Edgar at 35, it's the right time for him to move to 35 because at 45, there's just a whole bunch of killers, a whole bunch of
Mm.
people that like they're getting bigger. Even the 35ers now are getting bigger.
Mm.
So like I just feel it's the right time for him to be at 35, especially if he rehydrates correctly and he does everything right. I think Frank Edgar, I think Frankie Edgar's a problem at bantamweight.
Well, and sorry, Frankie, if we possibly gave away your game plan in this fight when this is uploaded. But no, I agree. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how his quickness, though, by the weight cut and that, and with all that muscle power. Did you get to the chance to watch the fights this past weekend?
I believe
Because you
against
also have
Adrian.
Marab in the mix as well, who just beat John Dotson. He trains with
Oh yeah,
Sterling.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I seen the main card for sure. The prelims I didn't really get to see. I was making my rounds trying to
Oh,
make sure I saw
yeah.
all the whole family. I was trying to make my rounds to see family, man, because like this whole past quarantine, like this whole entire time, I wanted to try to stay away just so I can be
Mhm.
like make sure I didn't catch anything. I was trying to be super safe as
Mhm.
possible, man. That's one thing that this quarantine and like fighting has done for me is like I had to stay away from my family. And for me, that was really hard. That was really hard to stay away. So I was making my rounds this weekend, just trying to see everybody. So uh, I missed the prelims, but luckily I was able to catch the main card. So yeah, that the guy that fought John Dodson, that dude's good, man. I would love to fight him in the future, man. I would love to fight him in the future because that dude's tough and man, he has really really good wrestling, man. But man, I think I can outstrike him. I think I can outstrike him and possibly even stop him. But I have to get there first. I
Yeah.
really have to get there first.
And then that main event between Stipe and DC. I mean, so back and forth again, and
Oh yeah, yeah.
that.
That fight was beautiful to me. I loved it, but then I hated it because I was rooting so hard for DC. I didn't know who to pick,
Yeah.
but I really wanted DC to win. I didn't know who to pick, but then at the same time, I was like, well, he's Cain Velasquez's training partner, and like that whole story. I'm like, I really love Cain Velasquez, so I'm gonna go with DC. So now I really love you, DC. So let's go DC. I'm all DC. So I was all in for DC once I like put it all together in my head. I was like, yeah, I don't know who to go for. They're both, to me, they're evenly matched, but I'm gonna go with DC.
And, DC announced that he is done. Do you think he's done though? I mean, the way MMA retirements work. I know he's
Man,
early 40s, but he had his moments in that fight.
oh yeah, oh yeah. I really think that he's retired.
Mhm.
There's kind of this, there's kind of this thing where like it's the younger fighters who are saying like, hey, well, forget it. I'm gonna retire. I'm gonna retire, and then most of them end up regretting it because most of the time they're retiring in their prime, and they come back like I could have done more. I could have done more. So as much as I want to sit here and be like, yeah, I hope DC's not done, a part of me is just like I kind of hope he's done because if his heart's not in it, I don't want to see him go in there and get hurt. I don't want to see another Chuck Liddell, Tito Ortiz type of thing happen. So, uh, I really kind of hope he stays retired because it didn't look like he was like it looked like just like everybody says if you have a foot out the door, just go ahead and just walk through it, man. Especially when it comes to retirement in a hard sport like MMA is.
Do you think going back to bantamweight, Cejudo stays retired?
It all depends. It pretty much if the money makes sense for him. I think if Peter Yan goes out there and starts starching these guys and it makes it like a really big thing, I'm pretty sure Henry Cejudo comes back and would try to fight him because man, it'd be Russia versus America. The Olympic gold medalist versus the Russia's golden child. So it'd be a great matchup. It'd be a great setup, a great promo, and everything. I really think that would be just a phenomenal fight because Henry Cejudo, say what you want about him, call him the king of cringe or whatever, but that guy has a dog in him. He like whenever he fought Marlon Moraes, he pulled something out of himself. After that first round, he was getting tagged hard. That would have put anybody else to sleep. He got tagged hard and fought through it, and came in and just started fighting and just got real mean. And so like he has that dog in him, and it would be a really great fight because Peter Yan, he just doesn't give up. He's like a machine. Don't stop. He keeps coming forward. He doesn't care. So I would just personally like to just see that matchup anyways. I kind of hope Henry Cejudo comes back now just so I can see that fight tomorrow.
Well, and also you still got Aljamain Sterling right there, who's he is the number one contender. I know they haven't announced that, but I'm sure it possibly. I mean, there's nobody else that I could see right now being that number one guy.
And see, Aljamain Sterling can go out there and take out both those guys. But it's one of those things that Aljamain Sterling can go in there and take out those guys, but Henry Cejudo can go in and take out both of those guys. And Peter Yan can do the same thing. It's whoever's better on that day. It's the competition level at the top 5, top 10 is so close that any one of those top 10 people can take that belt at any given day. They're just so good. It's like this is why I believe it's the toughest division at this moment. Like if you look at 55, you kind of just look at 55 and you're like, well, Khabib's gonna beat this guy, he's gonna beat this guy, he's gonna beat this guy. Just like right now, the whole thing with Justin Gaethje is like, yeah, that's a really bad matchup for him, but everybody's still leaning towards Khabib. I think Justin Gaethje is still an underdog, but I think in the bantamweight division, like if you put Aljamain Sterling versus Peter Yan, it's gonna be like -115, -110 on both sides. I think it's gonna be a pick'em fight. So there's not too many times where you have the just like the heavyweight fight Stipe versus DC. That was a pick'em fight. I think anybody in the lightweight division, like if you go against Khabib, you're automatically the underdog. So like anybody in the top 5 in the bantamweight division is going to be a pick'em fight. So to me, I look at it and I'm just like, well, so I think it is the toughest division if all your top 10s are pick'em fights.
Well, and the ultimate question too with Yan is what happens when it goes to the ground. You mentioned Sandhagen. I mean, Sterling quickly taking his back. I mean, his jiu-jitsu, obviously, Matt Serra level right there. So that's the big question mark is if he can get a hold of him, get him to the ground or take his back, what will Yan do?
Yeah, that I kind of want to see that, and I kind of want that answered. But also at the same time, it's the fight game. That might not even happen. Everybody, everybody was looking at Damian Maia versus Ben Askren. They stood up for 2 rounds. Everybody was expecting that to be like a wrestling or jiu-jitsu exchange. Ends up being a stand-up, like a stand-up.
Well, Usman and Covington. Usman, Covington, kickboxing. People might not remember, but GSP Koscheck, half of that second fight for the title, it was just GSP working at his jab and that eye.
Oh yeah, man. So it might just cancel each other out. So man, I just really want to see that fight because I think Aljamain Sterling, he's really good. He's really good at making you miss. And he's really good being awkward too. He's real funky. So he'll throw
the funk
that
master.
Yeah, so he'll come in from the side and already be out the way before you're trying to come in. And then also Jan, how he fights, he comes in the whole entire time and he's throwing power anytime he's throwing at you. So I would just like to see that matchup because it's power, and then you got this guy who's elusive, comes at different angles. And then you got Peter Yan, who's like very technical, strikes with like knockout intention every single time. So I just personally would just like to see that fight just happen already.
We'll go back to heavyweight. Another Houston Texan has a fight coming up. Derek Lewis versus Curtis Blades. What do you think about that matchup?
Man, I love every Houston fighter, man. I just like this past weekend, Daniel Pineda going out there and
there's another great. Yeah.
So, man, like I'm really excited whenever I see Houston fighters go out there and put it on the lines. And I'm a bit like Trevin Giles. Anytime he goes out there, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of watching his fights. You know, me and him were actually in the same training room when we were first trying to train for our first like MMA debut fights.
Oh wow!
So yeah, much love to Trevin and all that, and then much love to Daniel Pineda, Ike Villanueva, and all those guys, and then Derek Lewis, man. So like I look up to all these guys because they've gotten there. So I look up to them. So man, is even though me saying that, I do not like this fight for Derek, but at the same time, I think he can also knock out. I think he can knock out Blades. I think Derek Lewis can knock out anybody in the heavyweight division. It doesn't matter how good your chin is. I think Derek Lewis can knock you out. I just don't know about the wrestling because Curtis Blades, he just has that wrestling. Man. He just doesn't. He's relentless with it. He's super relentless with it. And then he's coming on. I think he just fought Volkov, right?
Yeah.
I know he took a couple hard shots in that fight, so he was a little bit hurt. It might be the perfect storm. It might be the perfect storm for Derek Lewis to go in there and shut his lights off. I'm hoping it happens because man, it's a Houston guy, and I'm all Texas, all Houston, so I'm really hoping that happens.
Well, even in his fight with Latifi, Latifi got those takedowns, but he stunned him a couple of times. Of course, Olenek, not really a wrestler, more grappler. I mean, you saw how that ended. So it only takes one, especially at that weight class.
Well, shoot, I was kind of really hoping that the Curtis Blades and Derek Lewis fight happens here in Houston because the shady judging.
I forgot about that. Yeah, that was Houston.
Yeah, so I would really hope that would happen just because, like, man, like for this one I need that shady judging. Scored all 3 for Derek Lewis.
It definitely clears up though the division. We just heard the big announcement: John Jones vacating title. I mean, most likely assuming he's going up to heavyweight, whether that's straight into a title shot or, fighting a contender. But having Blades and Derek makes sense because Blades was kind of in limbo a little bit after Volkov because Ngannou most likely is the next contender. I mean, that's what Dana's alluded to, but you never know. Big fights happen, John.
Yeah.
But either way, that still puts Curtis in limbo, puts Lewis, so why not? I mean, that's a fan-friendly fight right there. I don't know if that one's going the distance.
Yeah, I don't think it is. I don't think it is, and I'm really hoping it's the knockout king that gets it. And I really hope Derek Lewis goes out there and starches Curtis Blades. But if Curtis Blades gets the takedown, he has really good base. Can't really get up too much from him, and you kind of see what he does to a lot of people on the ground. Especially whenever he's in the damage mode and not just in the win mode. If he's in the I'm gonna try to finish you, he's vicious. He's super vicious. So me putting my bias aside of of Derek Lewis and me loving Houston fighters and all that, I would put my money on Curtis Blades. Curtis Blades getting the finish, but man, I'm Houston. I'm going Houston every single time Derek Lewis knocks him out. And with that John Jones stuff, man, I look at it and I'm just like, man, I really want to see either one of those fights between Francis and Ngannou, him and Francis, and then John Jones and Stipe. But I just really want to see how they play this out because I think it's really fun matchups for John Jones no matter who he fights.
Well, finally, I want to ask you, just because we've been talking about Houston, for the small businesses there and the restaurants, give them a little bit of a shout out. What's some of your go-to places when you're not training, when you're not in training camp? Where do you like to go and just have fun, explore, splurge?
Oh man, my first place as soon as I got home, I told my family, I was like, hey, we're going to Mike's Seafood. Ooh. We're gonna go to Mike's Seafood. Mike's Seafood, man, he's a good friend of mine, long time training partner. We went through the amateurs together. We went pro. We had for his whole pro career, like we were training together until he retired. But he owns two restaurants. They're both Mike's Seafood. I'll tell you right now, some of the best food I've had.
What's your go-to?
My go-to, he'll let you know. It's the bacon wrapped shrimp with the jalapeno in it.
That sounds good. Shout out to Mike. Bacon wrapped.
He knows how to throw it down. So anytime I've went, I always order, and I never tell him I'm there because if he finds out I'm there, he goes to the back and brings me more food.
Oh, so you end up being one lightweight or welterweight by the time.
Oh yeah, no, I'd be a middleweight. Yeah. My inner fat boy comes back, man. I used to be 200 plus pounds back in high school. So like my inner fat boy, as soon as I start seeing food I like I just gorge myself, man. I had to stop myself at a buffet at 4 plates because man, I'll keep going, I'll keep running, I'll keep going through all the plates, man.
Do you have a kind of a cheat day meal that, man, every time when you're not training or just have that one day off, you're getting?
Oh man, it has to be on a Saturday. It has to be after my week's been over with, and usually it's honestly it's whatever I'm feeling. It's whatever I'm feeling. Like I kind of save them for fight nights too. Like if there was a pay-per-view going on, I'd either go to Buffalo Wild Wings or Hooters or just wherever. Like if we're cooking here at the house and just fajita and chicken and tortillas and rice and beans and all that stuff. Yeah.
All the great stuff.
Oh yeah, all the great stuff. Honestly, it's not really a go-to. It's just whatever.
Throw a little bit of spice on there. Are you a spice guy? Do you like spicy?
Man, I love heat. I love heat.
So hot ones. Look for this interview. Get Adrian Yanez on the hot one spicy.
Oh yeah, I actually got the 100% pain, the palm, and I got the.
Why would you do that to yourself?
Oh yeah, no, I'm waiting for a day to pull those out. I'm waiting for someone to be like, yeah, you don't know what hot is. Like, oh, I don't know what hot is. All right, I'll pull it out right now. So, like, I love heat, man. I like my girlfriend always complains that the food's always too hot. She's like, I can't make it spicy enough for you. It's like me, my tongue's burning, but I'm just like. I'm
roll with it.
Going to the fridge and getting sriracha. I'm like,
sriracha is good. I've been putting that on everything. It is salmon, chicken. If it was pizza, it's actually good on pizza. By the way.
Oh yeah, that's my go-to.
Yeah. Oh man,
I put it on pastas and everything.
Oh, it's a hidden treasure. I don't think people know that enough. It goes well. Well, Adrian, I want to thank you for taking your time. Where can people find you?
Oh man, they can find me on Instagram at Adrian Yanez 93. I've been posting a lot more. I'm gonna try to keep posting. I'm gonna try to get better and also getting back to people's messages, man. I suck at it. I suck at getting back at people's messages.
You're a busy guy. You have the quickest knockout now in Contender series. So
yeah, so I'm trying to get back to people, man. Twitter at Yanez MMA. That one's actually easier for me to get back to people. No one really direct messages me. I only like my training partner and be like, hey, give me some send me some M&Ms or something like that. I'm like, all right. Well,
you use Twitter for that for M&Ms?
Yeah, it's like don't.
What kind of M&Ms? Peanut or plain?
Peanut.
Peanut.
I
You
take
like the
both
peanut
as well.
butter?
I haven't, but I tried it with I think the caramel ones.
They're good.
Yeah. So, and then the white chocolate peanuts. That's another one of my go-tos as well. So like if they run out of the peanuts, I get the white chocolate peanut. So I get as long as it has peanuts in there, I don't care. So, yeah. So at Yanez MMA on my Twitter, yeah, I get back to you so much faster. Facebook, you can find me at Adrian Yanez MMA, all spaced out. And then I haven't hit the 5,000 mark of my friends on Facebook. So if you want to send me a friend request, you're more than welcome to. I'm just letting you know now. On Facebook, I suck at responding to people. It's just so much. Facebook, getting back to people is just so hard because you try to get to that one person that, like, you saw it, like your buddy tags you in something, you
Oh yeah.
try to click on it and it sends you to a whole list of like what other people tagged you. I'm like, now I can find stuff that my buddy tagged me. All right, cool, that's fine. I'm just gonna worry about something else. So yeah, Adrian Yanez 93 Instagram, Yanez MMA at Twitter, and then Adrian Yanez MMA on Facebook.